Welcome to the billing portion of the new attorney orientation presentation. My name is Megan Byerly, and I'm the appointed counsel supervisor. I oversee the fiscal office and the screening office, so any questions pertaining to billing and/or appointments should come to me or a member of my staff. In my portion of this presentation, we will go over how to receive cases, the billing process, fee caps, and some miscellaneous items. There are 3 ways to receive cases. The first is by doing preliminary hearings. On your scheduled day, you will report to the 5th floor screening office, which is across from courtroom 56, and check in. Available cases will be assigned on that day as evenly as possible. If there's only one case, the first attorney who checked in will get it, so it's extremely beneficial to arrive early. It is also important to stay on the 5th floor and that we can find you so that you don't get skipped. Our department will prepare and e-file all preliminary hearing appointments, and the attorney will receive a hard copy of their client's financial disclosure, if applicable. This is important to keep because you will need to submit it later with your billing. The second way to receive cases is by email. From time to time, we have parties that come to screen for an upcoming court date. We also have magistrates who request counsel for certain parties. Our department maintains rotation spreadsheets for each list, so when this occurs, we send an email to the next attorney on the list to see if they can take the case. If the attorney declines or does not respond within 48 hours, they are skipped and we move on to the next attorney. If the attorney accepts, our department will prepare and e-file the appointment, and the attorney will receive a hard copy of their client's financial disclosure, if applicable, in their file in the screening office. It is important to check this file on a regular basis to ensure you have all the appropriate paperwork for billing. The last way to receive cases is by the bench, dismiss refiles, having prior history with a client or family, and representing a client on a pending case. Bench appointments are made when the magistrate or judge needs an attorney immediately. Dismiss refiles are when an abuse neglect dependency case is dismissed but refiled under a new case number. Prior history is if you were the GAL for a child and there is a new filing for that child or sibling. And reps on pending is if you currently represent a parent or a juvenile on an open case and something new is filed. For these case types, attorneys are responsible for preparing and e-filing their own appointments because they are excluded from the normal rotation. There are instructions on the court's website for how to complete and e-file appointments. Please make sure to check one of the appointment types as noted on the form. Once appointed, the representation process begins, and our department is available to answer any questions you might have. To begin the billing process, each attorney will need to complete a W-9 and an OPERS form. These forms are located on the court's website and should be turned in to me via email. Once I receive the forms, I submit the information to the auditor's office, and they issue a vendor number. This vendor number is required on all fee applications, so it is important to get this set up in advance. Once you have a vendor number, there are 2 prescribed forms that are required when submitting a bill. The first is the motion entry and certification for appointed counsel fees. This form is located on the court's website. It is a fillable PDF that has been customized to our court, and it must be opened in Adobe Reader. If you experience issues with the form, please see the troubleshooting tips and instructions for changing your default PDF viewer on the court's website. The other form that is required is the financial disclosure. If the screening office provided you with an original form that was completed by the client, you will need to scan and upload it with your fee application. If you do not have an original, you can use the fillable PDF version of the form on the court's website, but make sure to fill in the applicant's name, case number, and any other relevant fields. Please note, the financial disclosure is required even if you represent a child. In November 2021, the Board of Commissioners approved a resolution to increase the hourly rate and fee caps. The chart you see here has been updated to reflect those changes. You will see that there are multiple caps on an abuse neglect dependency case. One cap is for initial custody, which is determined at the adjudicatory and/or dispositional hearing. And after that, there is a separate cap for each annual review, which is defined as approximately 12 months from the initial filing of the case or approximately 12 months from the last annual review. And if the agency files a motion for permanent custody, there is a separate cap for that as well. All other proceedings are a one-time cap, so if you exceed it, you may want to consider requesting extraordinary fees if the case meets the qualifications defined in Juvenile Rule 4. When submitting the prescribed forms, there are submission deadlines. The forms must be correctly e-filed within 31 days from the timestamp on the final judgment entry. If a filing is submitted after the 31 days, but before 60 days, the fees will be reduced by 50%. If a filing is submitted past 60 days, the fees will be rejected for payment. If a filing is returned for correction, the attorney will receive a 10-day extension to make the corrections and resubmit. So, for example, if a fee application was e-filed on the 30th day and it was returned for correction on the 32nd day, the attorney would still get paid in full as long as the corrections were made and resubmitted by the 42nd day, which would have been 10 days from when the filing was returned. A few miscellaneous items pertaining to billing include expenses, extraordinary fees, and e-filing. Certain types of expenses are reimbursable. Common examples include mileage to a county outside of the county in which you work or reside, stamps, copies, etc. The mileage rate is reviewed and set each quarter by the Office of Budget and Management and can be found on their website. Copies are reimbursed at 5 cents each without a receipt. All expenses over $1 must be supported by a receipt or invoice. For mileage, this would be the driving instructions that show the start and end location, as well as the total number of miles traveled. And all supporting documentation must be uploaded with the fee application and financial disclosure as an attachment. Expenses that exceed $100 must be approved by a separate motion and entry prior to accruing the expense. Extraordinary fees may be requested if the case exceeds the cap and meets certain qualifications outlined in Juvenile Rule 4. If requesting extraordinary fees, a motion and a detailed time log must be uploaded with the other prescribed forms. Instructions for all these filing processes are included in the Appointed Counsel Guide to E-Filing on the court's website. To set up an e-filing account, go to the clerk's website, click e-file login, and then request account. Additional resources are located on the court's website under Assigned Counsel. These resources include the rules governing billing, guides to reimbursement and e-filing, and various YouTube videos that walk you through how and when to bill certain case types. I would highly recommend reviewing all these resources prior to billing on your first case. This process may seem overwhelming, and even the most experienced attorneys still get confused from time to time, but we are here to help. I have fiscal staff who review all the bills. If you ever have a billing question or a question regarding a return, please reach out to one of them and they can assist you. I have one employee that works in the screening office and does all the appointments. This is who you will check in with for prelims and who handles all the assigning of cases. And you are always welcome to reach out to me. Again, we are here to help, so please don't hesitate. Thank you for allowing me to present this portion of the presentation. I look forward to meeting and working with each of you.